If Lacey hadn't just gotten off a 2-day road trip, if she wasn't wearing a simple V-neck t-shirt with jean shorts, and if she wasn't a black woman, she'd swear the slightly scruffy but very handsome Asian guy on the other side of the U-shaped bar was checking her out. But she knew she didn't cut the most glamorous figure with her makeup-free face and long dreadlocks twisted on top of her head in a messy bun. She was also way underdressed for the upscale bar at Sinclair Ranch and Resort's 5-star restaurant, the S Factor. The Asian guy had silky black hair that fell just past his chin and what looked like a few days' worth of stubble. But at least he was wearing a lightweight summer suit. No, he couldn't be checking her out. Her eyes drifted to a group of women seated in the corner and decked out in elegant resort dresses. They made her feel like a plain sparrow to their colorful birds. Surely, if he were going to hit on anybody in the bar, it would be one of them. And let's face it, as a black woman, she'd never had an Asian man give her a second glance, much less the searing one this guy appeared to be throwing her across the wide expanse of the bar. Lacey began to wonder if maybe there was a gorgeous, non-black woman standing behind her. She actually looked over her shoulder, but found herself gazing at a wall. And when she turned back to the bar, the man was gone. Had he been a hallucination? She reached up to undo the elastic holding her hair in place. Maybe she'd put it on too tight. "You're done with your drink," a smoky voice said beside her, just as she grabbed her hair tie. The Asian guy had reappeared at her side and slid onto the stool to her left. He was taller and even more handsome up close. Now she could clearly see his face, including his long, wide nose, strong jaw, and intense onyx eyes, which seemed to be boring a hole into her as he waited for an answer. Okay then, not a hallucination. She dropped her hand from her hair and glanced at the now empty pint glass in front of her. "Yeah, I guess I am." He set his own drink down, something dark and amber, maybe bourbon or scotch, and hailed the waiter. "I will buy you another." "That's not a good idea," she said, truly alarmed to find herself in the position of having to turn down a drink from a really, really attractive man. She didn't get out much, and it had been years since anyone had offered to buy her anything at all. "I haven't had a thing to eat since lunch. I got into town a little later than expected, and now I'm starving. Really, the only reason I came in here was to get a meal, but then I was too late and the kitchen closed, so I ordered a Guinness, because that's kind of like a meal, right? But I think 2 pints would cross over into drinking on an empty stomach territory, and I still have to drive back to my motel." She trailed off, because the bartender had arrived to take their drink order, also because she realized she was doing it again, talking too much. "You're too friendly, Tasha," her father had scolded her, back when her name had still been Tasha. They were walking back from the grocery store for what was supposed to be a quick milk run, but had turned into nearly 20 minutes of her dad huffing and puffing in the background as she gabbed on and on with the checkout clerk. "Everybody in the world ain't your new best friend, Cher. You're going to have to learn about that soon." At the time, she dismissed his comments with a roll of her teenage eyes and an exasperated smile. "Come on, Daddy, people aren't that bad," she'd said, thinking him such an introverted grump to her extroverted chatterbox self. But now she knew how bad people could be, how much trouble befriending the wrong people could get her into. It had ruined her life and ended her father's. "We'll have a bottle of Cabernet to go," the man was saying to the bartender now. She noticed his words were slightly tinged with a very faint accent, making him sound even more formal than he already appeared. "And your house pasta. Have room service deliver it to my cabin." The bartender nodded and left to place the order, even though handling room service orders for bar patrons probably wasn't within the purview of his duties.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.